Once a young couple, Emily and Jake, lived in a secluded house on the outskirts of town. They were happy until one day strange things began to happen in the house. At first there were little noises, then doors would open and close by themselves. They thought they were just watching too many horror movies, but soon more strange and frightening things began to happen. One night, Emily woke up to a sound she had never heard before. She got up to check what was going on and found her husband not around. She began her search when she heard whispers from the room below. She walked up the stairs and stopped at the door, which Jake always closed at night. But the door was open, and she heard voices talking about her.
"She's already trapped. She can't get away,"
one of the voices said.
"But we agreed she would be next,"
another voice replied. Emily began to realize that there was no lone ghost in the house, but a group of people planning to kill her. She realized that her husband was one of the plotters. She quickly turned and ran for the exit, but the door was locked. She heard footsteps behind her and turned to face her husband, who was holding a knife in his hand. "I'm sorry, honey. It was my only way out," he said, and stepped closer. But then the sound of a police siren was heard. Emily managed to dial 911, and the police arrived in time to stop Jake and his accomplices. It turned out that they were members of a cult group that was planning a sacrifice to bring their god to life. Emily was last on their list of victims, but thanks to her courage and equanimity, she was able to avoid death. After this incident, Emily moved to another town and began a new life. She never spoke to Jake again and tried to forget the whole horrible story. But she would always be haunted by the memory of that terrible event that had brought her to the brink of life and death. Since then she began to tell her story to others to warn people against such cults and strange sects. She wanted people to be careful not to fall into the traps of violent fanatics who would do anything for their beliefs.